Cool.
Yo, we in here.
We in here.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you in advance for staying. I'm Courtney, better known as 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗀𝗶.
I'm Alex Black.
And this is the Cool in Real Life podcast where passions and purpose align. This is episode 7.
Episode 7.
It's episode 7, right?
Mm-hmm. We back.
We back. Last month we didn't dap it up that quick.
We forgot.
Word. So this is episode 6, Grief 102.
7.
Damn, let me start over.
No. We just going with it. We not about to do that whole thing over again.
Dang. It's episode 7, Grief 102, Felt Relationships. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, we always do a What's Your Life Like, where we pretty much just talk like friends and just catch up for the month. It's your turn to start, actually, because I started on episode 6. I went first. So you going first this time, dog.
That's fine. I'm ready.
Go on.
You gotta ask
What's
me.
your life like?
You be forgetting to ask me.
What was your life like?
It was cool. You know, I felt like at the beginning of the month, we ran into a little technical difficulties.
With what?
Trying to get the episode up and whatnot. Just trying to get everything edited, and we just weren't the happiest with how things were turning out. And it felt like it was a test. Like the enemy ain't like how happy we was the month before. He was like, I gotta throw some salt on y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, facts. I felt that way.
Yes.
I felt that way.
Yes.
Facts. I felt that way.
It was trash, but you know, we powered through it and got everything out. And it's just crazy how, you know, you and I will have conversations, and then what we talk about, like, God is just bringing opportunities like right into our lap. Like we just had a discussion about, you know, how we want to shift it and do things, you know, moving forward, and then random, you know, got an opportunity fell in our lap. So
yeah, man,
you know, just grateful that we continue to, you know, push through, because God always rewards us on the back end.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is, I was privileged to serve as producer for this DJ set series.
That set was fire. Just looking at the BTS, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But no, it was a DJ set series out here called Made You Look. Brought to you by, well, it was DJ 𝗀𝗶𝗸𝗲's idea, and you know, the people at Grits produced it, and I was just grateful that they brought me in on it. So shout out to V for hitting me up. I'm grateful that like people think, oh, music is involved, oh, dope visuals is involved, let me hit Alex. Like,
facts,
I'm
man.
grateful that, you know, that's synonymous like with me. So she hit me, she was like, you know, I immediately thought of you, I thought this would be perfect, so come aboard. And I was like very hesitant, because she was like, well, what, I see you as producer, you know, I see you as doing this, like, but what do you want your role to be? And naturally, like, I'm trying to scale it back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because like this was my first time. Like, I mean, I've done short films, I've done, you know, projects with big brands and different things like that, but this was like me actually like having the role, not just something somebody gave me, you know, because whatever. But yeah, so I naturally was trying to like shy away from it, but you know, no, I looked at it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna step into like the producer role fully, and everything went well.
It looked awesome.
It did. It looked great. Every location went off like without a hitch. You know, we were early. It was a really good time. So I'm looking forward to, you know, what we're gonna do with volume 2. So I meet with them when I get back next week, and then we start just debriefing and looking at all the footage and stuff, and then really trying to plan out the second part of it.
So volume 2, does it stick with DJ 𝗀𝗶𝗸𝗶?
Yeah, it's him. I think the other 2 DJs are going to rotate. He was trying to remove himself, and I was like, nah, bro, you gotta you have to like be a staple in it. Like you're
Word.
a big draw and a big reason why people are coming out to it to begin with. Because they had to walk all the way across that bridge to get to 𝗀𝗲𝗯𝗀. So
Your mama had us out there, and we didn't go that deep
she had
into
us
the
on Browns Island.
right.
Yeah.
So y'all was deeper into the wild side,
We were on like
the other side of the wild side.
yeah, you know how she had us like looking over the water? We had to walk over there
Oh,
underneath the highway. Yeah. But
it looked dope though.
it was
And it's
fire.
one of those things where it's like, yo, you put in some of the work, it's gonna be rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, you just gotta take a little hike.
That's it.
Take
That's
a
what I
little
was telling
hike, and
people.
it's gonna be rewarded.
Take a little hike, like enjoy the views as you walk. Cause it's a beautiful like scenery. You know, you're walking
Yeah, man.
under the highway across the James River, and it's just beautiful out there. Just take that hike and then come enjoy when you out there. That was it.
And for the viewers that are not in the area of where Alex is at, Alex is talking about Richmond, Virginia. If you actually check out our channel on YouTube, we did a featured, I don't want to say episode, but a featured video of Alex's mother, and it's titled "The Wild Side." So it'll give you an idea of what it looks like out there. So check that out. Check out The Wild Side.
Yeah. Show my girl some love.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, it looked amazing, and you know I hit V up. I'm like, yo, why don't none of this stuff go down when I'm down there? What's up, fam? Like,
Word.
I need y'all to collab and tune it in when I'm actually there. Because I
Yeah.
would have loved to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, just outdoors, nature, good music, good
Right.
vibes, just people wanting the same thing.
Right.
That's fire,
It was
man.
dope. It was a really dope experience.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. And so, you know, just been walking in that. Got a couple other projects that I'm working on actually that I start filming when I get back next week. So things are moving. So
Okay.
I'm just happy about everything.
I'm proud of you, dog.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, you know, for, you know, I know that it could be challenging sometimes to step into a role that you might not feel prepared to step into.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not on our timing. It's it's on God's timing.
Right.
And God said you ready, dog. And
Did.
honestly, yo, we keep talking about being used as vessels. When you're obedient, you're definitely a vessel. So, you know, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I can see the self-confidence coming up too. Yeah, man, because you know, you're doing the vlog. I don't know what I'm doing. Eventually, you're going to know what you're doing.
A little bit on some things.
On some things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So what's your life like?
My life is cool. I mean, it's a continuum of how I felt last month, honestly. We felt really, really amazing last month. We did have that hiccup. Luckily, the job called me off that night.
God be knowing.
God be knowing, yo. Like, one thing I want to say is I love how we definitely shout out God on every episode, like for what our lives are like.
Yeah.
Because God is really like orchestrating all of this. You know what I mean? So we had that hiccup. I got off from work. I'm like, yo, dog, the episode is at 13%. It's been about 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
What's up? And he's like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm like, I don't know. You literally had to upload it in a way for me to download it, for me to upload it, and then it got uploaded. So
it sounds as crazy. Like it was as crazy as that sounds. Seriously.
it really was. Hours and hours and hours went by. So I'm getting off from work. I work nights. I'm like, yo, like something's not right. But okay, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna go to sleep because I'm tired. I go to sleep. I wake up. John's still at 13%.
You go to sleep. You woke up. I had hit you back like this. Now I know that it takes a while. It don't take this long. I'm about to make an executive decision and just canceling
it out. But then you tried to do it again, and it went to 15%, and it stopped.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you did it a third time, I think, and it went to like a
40 something,
40, and it stopped. So then I'm just like, all right, it must be your internet connection. Like something is going on, and like where the homie live is like wooded kind of, you know what I mean? So I feel like sometimes I don't know, man. I don't know what was going on, but I know that one thing that we try to stay true to is releasing on the same day. Like if we say that we're going to do something, I think that you and I we try to keep our
For
word.
sure. We be up all night.
All night, man. If we say we're going to drop on the first, we want to drop on the first. And I think that like I was disappointed in myself. It wasn't necessarily you. I was just disappointed overall. Like, damn, like people look forward to the first. Like the homie's gonna drop on the first.
Yeah.
But I had to decompress because I'm like, yo, I'm coming off of a good month. I don't want this to really mess things up. So the job called me off that night and I was able to work into the wee hours of the night and get it uploaded. Um, and then after that, I realized I need a break.
It broke us a little.
It's not that. It's just that like I just needed a break.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like cool in real life is it has become my life.
Mhm.
And it's like when I'm not working, I'm working on the project. If I'm not working on a project, I'm working my 9 to 5. And I'm just like I just need to take a breather.
Mhm.
And I took 2 weeks off. There was nothing moving and shaking on the platform, and I really appreciate you for understanding that like
Of course.
yo, homies need breaks.
Yes.
I really needed to like sit that one out and
Mhm.
like breathe a bit.
Mhm.
Um so now I'm slowly getting back on the platform and posting up stuff because we owe it to ourselves to showcase what we did last month.
Yeah.
Last month was beautiful and I just want to showcase that for sure. But other than that, as for myself, just really busy with work, like extremely busy with work and just trying to juggle that. I have yet to figure that out. I have yet to do my detox. Um, but I started to juice a lot more.
Yeah.
I started to juice a lot more to prepare myself to do that. I just have too much things moving and shaking. And I'm like, I owe it to myself to be more at a standstill when I'm detoxing because it's not necessarily just like a physical detox. It's a spiritual detox. It's a mental, emotional detox, a mental detox. It's all of those things. So I want to be more at a standstill where I'm not moving and shaking too much. So when I get back from my trip next week, I'm going to sit down and do the detox and really like lock in.
Got you.
The trip next week is
Okay. Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah. You see my face.
Yeah. The trip next week is Chicago. So I've been wanting to go to Chicago for over a decade. And, you know, it's crazy because like you might want to do things in life and you look up and you haven't done anything that you've wanted to do. And it would be a pity if I checked out of here without doing some of these things,
Right.
right? So like I'm in a space right now where I'm making time for Courtney 100%. And I'm surrounding myself with people that make me feel alive. I think for a long time, I didn't want to be here.
Mhm.
And I think I was talking to my mom about it the other day. I'm like, I don't think anyone in my life realized that on a daily basis, I thought about checking out.
Mhm.
For these past 4 years on a daily basis, I was thinking about checking out.
Mhm.
And I don't even think I realized that. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that I realized that until I came out of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it more and I'll expound on it more. But yeah, like I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive and I'm happy to be surrounded by people who not only just breathe life into me, but they're breathing life into themselves while I'm breathing life into myself. And it's like just this synonymous cultivation of life.
Word.
And it just feels really good. It feels really, really good. I'm
Good.
not gonna hold you. So I'm excited for Chicago. I go see Keenyn next week.
Mm.
I'm hype. We've been putting K on the playlist
For
because
sure.
I've been prepping.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna be in that be in that joint. You feel me? I'm happy. I'm happy. And I just been wanting to go to Chicago. So
You have, because even when I was out there a few years ago, I remember you talking about it.
I've been wanting to go for a long time.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to do that. And outside of that, yeah, that's it.
Word.
Just we working on some things and everything is aligning perfectly.
Yes.
Um dang, I can't get up, y'all. But I want to say this. I linked up with a homie. I'm not even going to go too much into detail about it, but I linked up with a homie that I met back in 2018. And he's been doing his thing with his brand and his company. And this is just how alignment works, right? Like I went to his headquarters and I'm like, yo, it's so dope in here. They had a like the fatback TV. They had a PlayStation 2 linked up. I'm like, damn, like I was just talking about getting a PlayStation 2. I'm like, all right, I really like what you're doing. Y'all are moving and shaking. I love what y'all are doing. I want to give y'all a little gift for your space.
Mm.
And I was like, I want to get y'all the PS2 game Getting Up, the graffiti game by Mark Echo.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, my business partner been talking about that game for mad long.
Yeah.
Just alignment.
Right.
So, it's actually like over there, so I can't get it.
Right.
But the game came in earlier this week, and
Mm.
I'm just like, yeah, I hit him, like, took a picture of it. He's like, yo, that's dope.
That's what's up.
So, just doing little things, you know what I mean? Just living in this prayer. Once again, this is just a continuum of what I said last month, living in a prayer, being joyous, being thankful, thanking God for everything. The ups, the downs, the mediums, everything. I'm just so thankful.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Word.
Yeah,
Before
man.
we transition out, I hope you don't mind. But we do everything a month in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be coming out in October.
Word.
October is
Oh, my playlist. That's what
you
you
could talk
talking
about
about?
that.
That's
But
what
I,
you talking
I
about
was
now?
gonna like allude to it being your birthday, but you could talk about your play if you want
Yeah,
to.
so you came up with a dope idea to like, yo, we do the monthly playlist. So how about for, our your camera be cutting out, doggies.
That joint probably got overheated because it can't be the battery.
It can't be.
Yeah,
How long we been talking?
not that long.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, you brought up a good idea. You were like, yo, you guys, we do the monthly playlist. We should do a monthly playlist ourselves for our birthday month. So October is my birthday month, November is yours. So you were like, yo, for October, you should just take it over 100% and it just be your playlist.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll do the same in November. So yeah, man, this month actually coming up. It's so weird because we're a month ahead.
Right.
So we gotta kind of talk like as if it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in October, the playlist that's coming out will be 100% me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Word.
And it's just like a celebration, and it's like paying homage to me and
Mhm.
honoring my life and my existence. And in November it'll be you.
Yeah.
2 autumn babies.
2 autumn babies, man.
Word.
But I had a whole plan, and it dawned on me while I was sitting over there that I'm not gonna be able to execute the plan like I thought I
What
was
you
going
mean?
to. I was gonna like have flowers delivered while we were recording. My
Oh,
phone is like over there, so I can't like get in contact with the person, like get the notification that they're here downstairs so I could go get them. Like I wanted them to like bring them to the door, somebody knock, and you'd be like, what, who the hell is that?
that would have been dope.
I know, but I can't because I don't have, my phone. And I was really plotting like, can I use her joint? And like ask you like, yo, don't ask me no questions, just let me use it.
Word.
Like,
Word.
something. But I got a little something yesterday. While I was at the store. It was supposed to be with the flower. So this is like super, super small. It's not even like nothing crazy, but I just can't resist cute things.
Yeah.
And I know that you like this character because you told me. So I picked it up. I was definitely lying when you was like, what's in that bag? Because I was trying to tell old girl, put that joint away. Like,
Miffy.
yes. This is a cute little like, dangly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It be the small things. Give me a hug. We normally tap it up, but give me a hug.
I love you. I love you too.
Yo, nah, this is dope, man. This is dope. We actually went to the mall because I gotta like plan for this trip next week. And you ended up sneaking this joint
I
in
did.
there.
When he was upstairs, I saw the little. I know you like Miffy, and I was like, "Oh, let me get this because I like cute things, and this is her favorite character, one of her favorite characters." So I
Wow.
just take it real quick.
I'm kind of sad I gave my Miffy lamp away. because I got that for my boys when they were babies. And I just didn't, I wanted to bless somebody as much as it was a blessing to, us at the time.
Yeah.
They were having a baby, and I'm just like, I just want to do something kind, and it's dope.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
a big Miffy lamp. I miss my Miffy lamp. I miss it, but hopefully it's a blessing to somebody.
Word.
Hopefully it's a blessing to the family that I gifted it to. But this is so dope. I love Miffy, man.
I know.
Miffy's so cute.
She's so cute. That's why I was like, oh, I gotta get it. I don't know, like, what you gonna put it on? Dangle it on something. I mean, you have like
it on my jeans.
Yeah, you got little trinkets around. So I was like, let me just
dangle it somewhere.
Yeah.
I might use it as a gibbet on my Crocs.
Yeah. So I just wanted to do something nice for you, like on the pod.
Thank you.
So yeah.
I appreciate you. Cause you be coming through with the gifts, dog. Even if it's not like this huge thing, that's the thing. Like, it's the thought. It doesn't have to be like this big, like elaborate, like or extravagant thing. It's the fact that you even thought of me. Yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome.
It feels good to be thought of. I want to cry a little bit.
Don't. Cry.
I do want to cry a little bit, but thank you.
Thank
you. Because last year you got me to
𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗀𝗃
joint. So you be coming through.
I try.
Because I love 𝗀𝗂𝗯𝗃, man.
I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See y'all. I'm so thankful, man. I'm thankful for our friendship.
So am I, seriously. So I saw that and I was like, let me get it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have that with the flowers. Just something cute. So every woman deserves flowers. So I wanted to, bless you.
I love flowers. I love me some flowers.
Yeah. Right.
Dang, speaking of flowers, it ties into this episode. But go ahead.
Nope, that's it.
That's it.
On to the next. Cool.
So we got the mailbag because this is another grief series. And crazy enough, this is actually more heavier for you than Grief 101, loss of loved ones.
This is the one that I don't want to say dread, but yes, this is the one that has kept me up at night for almost a year. Well, since whenever you told me, like, we got to speak about this. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. So episode 7, Grief 102, felt relationships. It literally is what it says, felt relationships. Like we stated last month, we went into this knowing that we wanted this podcast to bring forth healing. It wasn't just about friend talk. It was about moving past hurtful situations, transcending from things that we felt hindered us for however many years, and being able to release and let go and move forward. So I'm going to be honest. After last month's episode with the loss of loved ones, I felt like a weight was lifted off of me. I felt like I could finally move on.
Good.
You know what I mean? Like I released it. It's there forever. That's where it lives now. And it's not within me. So my goal is to have the same with this episode, because I'm ready to let it go.
Word.
And move forward with my life. So yeah, felt relationships. I think it's something that almost all of us can witness. All of us have experienced at some point. You and I have had this commonality. Unfortunately, it's a commonality I never wanted to share with another person. And I know you want me to go first. Honestly, don't know where to go. I'm going to say this. I've always found myself in a relationship. Like, I could never be by myself. And I know where that stems from. It stems from abandonment issues as a child. Feeling neglected, feeling left, feeling the need to fill that void, that emptiness with a person, with a body.
Yeah.
And I was never really a serial dater, but I always found myself in a relationship. And I'm not going to talk about all of the relationships, right? But what I can say is within all of those relationships, there's a common denominator, and that common denominator is me. So I just want to put out the disclaimer that for me in this episode, I'm not necessarily going to use this time to point fingers at previous partners. I'm using this time to go inward and focus on myself and focus on where I may have gone right, where I may have gone wrong. And just take full accountability for my actions, for my role in my failed relationships. So yeah, I think there's only 2 relationships that really haunted me.
Yeah.
One is a very fresh relationship, and one is a relationship that definitely isn't fresh but significant.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm going right. All right, so I'll start with the previous relationship that is older but very significant. I was married. I was with my ex-wife for about 7.5 years. Man, that's a long time.
Yes.
I gave this person most of my young adulthood. Like I was with them for a very long time. Out of this marriage came 2 beautiful children. My twin boys, Hunter and Liam, that I'm so proud of. And if I had to do it all over again, I used to think, like, would I do it? And I would, because children coming into this realm just means that you were chosen. And they chose us for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for that. And I try to learn a lesson in that. So shout out to my babies, and shout out to my ex-wife for going down that journey with me, But yeah, I was married, and one thing I learned from that is to never settle. I settled in that relationship. And when you're young and you think that you're doing all the right things, sometimes it just takes you to be outside of it to realize that I don't want to say it wasn't the right decision, because life came from it. But moving forward, it's not the right decision to do anymore, right?
Yeah.
So settling is never okay. I cared for her, but I was never in love with her. I wanted to, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at the time, like, I was getting my life right. I was surrounded by people that necessarily weren't in alignment with where I wanted my life to go. And I kind of randomly ran into my ex-wife. And at the time, she just seemed so, like, down to earth, but she also had a good head on her shoulders. She was pretty much doing the same things that I wanted to do in life. And I had fun with them and all of the things, right? But I don't believe that was my person.
Yeah.
But I'm also very loyal when it comes to relationships. I'm loyal to the point where I'll stay in something. It's like I always get broken up with. I'm gonna be honest, yo. I always get broken up with, even if I'm not happy, and that's not okay. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I realized that I found myself deeper in having love for this person when she had our children. It was in that moment that I said, wow, because she pretty much almost lost her life giving birth to our twin boys.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, it was just her and I. It was nobody there. It was us. And I stood tall in that. Like, she needed me and I was there. I put all of our differences to the side.
Yeah.
And I was there. I just showed up. But I realized that quickly faded once health was restored. once everyday life got back, that level of loyalty, that level of devotion wasn't necessarily I don't feel like it was rewarded. And it's literally because maybe we were just not each other's persons.
Got you.
You know what I mean? I can't speak for them. I can only speak for me. That relationship was very hurtful. And I lost a lot of myself in that. I looked up and I realized that I'm not myself. I'm not being authentic to myself.
Yeah.
The life that I want to lead, the life that I see, the life that I envision is not with this person. And they left me, and I remember just thinking, like, I don't want my children to have the same outcome that I did. I don't want my children to live in two different spaces, or I don't want to have a broken home for my children. You know, let's not break the family up. But once I got out of it and they wanted me to come back to it, I had time to do some soul searching.
Yeah.
And I just could not go back.
Yeah. It's for the best.
It was for the best. And at the time, they didn't understand. And I honestly feel like I suffered for that choice to not go back.
For sure.
And I just hope that they realize that, like, it just wasn't meant. Like, we could not go back.
Right.
You know what I mean? One thing I know for sure is that if I can't see it, then it cannot be. Like, God gives me vision. If I cannot see it, it cannot be. Or if I see that something is doomed or gloomed, it cannot be.
Yeah.
And I'd rather my children live in two separate spaces than to live in something dysfunctional. You know? So, yeah, man. The road of, like, you know what? The most hurtful part wasn't even living a life that was inauthentic to myself. The hurtful part was once it was all done and what I would have to go through after, not being able to fully co-parent.
Yeah.
And collaborate and see eye to eye, and honestly feeling as if, like, I don't even have children. You know what I mean? Like, being put in that position where it's like, I don't feel like a mother.
Yeah.
Because I'm not respected as such. And I think it's so tough with, like, same-sex relationships. I see a lot of men and women go through this.
Right.
Where you break up with your partner and it's like they move on with the next. And it's like they assume your position. And it's like, that's not what parenthood is, though, right?
Right.
Like, no one could ever replace my father. My mother had partners. My dad did too.
Yeah.
But no one ever replaced my mother and my father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like once I left, it was just like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most hurtful part. And I've never talked about it. And I never put my frustrations about that on Front Street to protect her and myself and my children.
Right. All of that. Because I, as your friend, you know, just throughout the years, I know that struggle that you've gone through, that back and forth, you know what I mean? Do I, don't I? You know, try to, you know, fall back just to protect yourself, and you never can. You know what I'm saying? You've loved them too deeply. And then I'm just grateful that you've come to the understanding that how much you're needed. Even when it hasn't been communicated to you how much you're needed, you know that you're needed. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's just all spiritual right there, because you're chosen by your children. You know what I mean? I used to say this, like, Hunter and Liam could be older than me. You know what I mean? I don't look at them like they're children. I just look at them like they're beings. And I was chosen to be a part of your story at some point in time. You know what I mean? So for me to disobediently negate that is the ultimate betrayal. So no matter how I feel, I have to stand tall in that.
Right.
And that's what's kept me in their lives throughout all this time, despite all the hurt, despite all of the negating, despite all of the belittlement that I feel, you know what I mean? And have been made to feel,
Yeah.
you know? And like I said, this isn't to point the finger at them because they have their own story. And you and I was talking about this the other day, like, I honestly don't feel as though I'm a victim in anything because not only have I been harmed, I've done harm.
Right.
I've been on both ends. I've done a lot of harm and I've experienced a lot of harm. And that just stems from growing up in an abusive household as a child and not being able to fully bounce back from how that transforms your view on life in the world. It took me a long time. It took me a long time to transform how I view the world. So now I can see, like, these things are not okay. It's not okay for me to experience it, and it's not okay for me to give the experience to another person.
Right.
So that's where I'm at today. I still view marriage as like something that's sacred and needed, and I still value it. And I thought that I would never love again like that. And I'll talk about it later on how I ended up wanting that for myself again.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to shift gears onto you because I opened it up.
You don't want to talk about the second? We can leave it at that.
It's a little heavy. Hold on. Let me take a sippy sip. I could go into, I'll talk about it. After my ex-wife, after leaving that marriage, I went through a lot of transformations, a lot of hiccups, a lot of pitfalls, man, a lot. And I spent all this time building a life with a person that I was forced out of. And then now I felt like, and I was left with pretty much nothing. I had to start from ground zero and build myself back up. And I'm not going to go in full detail about what that was. You know what that was. Everybody in my life know what that looked like for me.
Yeah.
But a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of tears, a lot of suicidal ideation. I guess I'll go into detail. Homelessness. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But one thing, when I left that marriage, I never thought that I would love again. Like, I never thought that I honestly thought that not even love again. I never thought that I would love. That's a better way to put it. Because I never thought that I would find my person. Yeah, I'm in relation with people, but it never felt like, yo, this person was made for me and I was made for this person. And our courses are meant to collide.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that way until I met my most recent ex. It's like the moment I met this person at a Friendsgiving in like 2018. They were in another relationship even. And I was dating the person that threw the Friendsgiving. You know what I mean? But there was something about that person that, like, she just stood out. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that feeling was until most recently, when after the relationship dissolved and I had to go through like some real like spiritual soul searching journey,
Yeah.
But I loved her. The moment I saw her, I loved her. And I could cry about it because I didn't know what that was because I never felt it before.
Mhm.
And I, just growing up in a abusive situation, I just felt like I was incapable of loving.
Got you.
Y- You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because the people that I loved at that time caused harm.
Mm.
So I was guarded
Mhm.
to the point where now that I'm an adult, I don't even know that I'm guarded anymore. I don't
Yeah.
know that I put up these walls.
Right.
And when I met her, I just remember feeling connected to her. Like it was just something about her. I used to ask the person I was dating, like, "Hey, have you heard from so and so? Like, how they doing?" It was just like that, and it wasn't even like an attraction thing on a physical. It was an attraction thing on a spiritual. Like
Mm.
I was drawn to her,
Yeah.
and then years later, organically, we would come together. On I remember I was on Black is the New Black because Brandon had passed away. And I remember I was I had posted that Brandon had passed away and that I would no longer be posting
Mm.
on that account anymore. And if anyone from that account wanted to follow me, to follow me. And that's how her and I started talking.
Mm.
Super organic. And at the time, I met them 3 months after my dad passed away. So like timing horrible.
Yeah.
So I get a chance to experience the love of my life when I have no desire to live. What kind of sick joke is that?
Yeah.
I remember being out of that relationship thinking that way. Like, how sick of a joke is that? That I finally found a person
Take your time.
that I was able to experience love outside of like my children, my
Right.
nuclear family,
Yeah.
right?
A given.
And it's such horrible timing. And I loved her so much, but I didn't love myself. I saw her, but I didn't see myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even think I would cry about this, but it pains me,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know?
it's yeah.
The things that did in that relationship, I'm embarrassed, you know? Because after my dad passed away, like that's when I started a real spiritual journey as an adult. That's something that I had closed myself off from since a child. And it was organically placed in my lap. And I remember one of my good friends saying, "Court, like, don't engage in a relationship yet because this is the best that you've ever done in your entire life. Like, yo,
Yeah.
I've seen you go through the darkest. Like, give yourself time." But I just remember feeling so drawn to this person and I didn't understand what that was. And I moved forward with it. And like I said, harm was done to me
Yes.
and I've done harm, you know? And based on the harm that I've committed, I'm embarrassed
Mm.
to the point where I changed my entire life because of it. I changed my entire existence because of how hurt I am that I did that to someone that I love so deeply.
Yeah.
And it's I think like we're taught like timing is everything, perfect timing. Oh, you get timelines. You get married here, you have kids there, you don't commit until dot dot dot. You know what I mean? So I remember pushing them away. It's not time yet. It's not time yet. I still needed to heal from my dissolved marriage.
Yeah.
I was actively going through stuff. that was painful. Felt like I was losing my kids. My father passed away.
Right.
My best friend it was just a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm no longer in that relationship, obviously. And it pains me every single day.
Yeah.
And that feeling hasn't dissolved. The yearning for that person hasn't wavered.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just feeling like, is this my life? Is my life meant to be like this reminder of misery? Like you could experience joy and happiness and all of these things, and then you get this whiff of misery that comes in and it just like takes all of that from you.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember telling him, like, you're my life's purpose. You are a part of that. And I think the most painful part of it is that they experienced me at my worst, at my absolute worst. And now that I'm so much better, they're choosing not to experience me at all.
And that's a choice.
Yeah.
And I get why. And I know that it sucks to know that, you know, you did what you said you were going to do, and you did the work.
Yeah.
And the person won't let you, you know, won't allow you to show them. But that's not on you. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that. And that's why those moments of like, I remember after that, those moments of like suicidal ideation started to creep up again.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I had to like really stand on 10 for my life.
Right.
And say, no, I'm going to see this through. I know what wanting to die feels like.
Yeah.
I've felt it since I was like 7. I don't think people, I've never opened up in this way. I've wanted to die since I was 7. So 30 years of wanting to die. And I finally want to live. And I just can't go back to that.
Yeah.
I can't go back to that. I love them deeply, but I love myself more.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I've never felt before, where I love myself so much.
Yeah.
I've spent my entire life not loving myself at all. And I used to think that it was someone else. I used to think that it was someone doing something to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just had to take ownership of the self-hate. And I had to do the fucking work. Excuse my language. Do the effective work.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about what that is. People don't talk about what it feels like to kill your ego. They talk about these catchphrase things, but they don't know what it's like to kill the ego. It really feels like you're killing yourself. People don't know what it's like to do shadow work. These are catchphrase things. Doing shadow work is like the ultimate. It's taking ultimate accountability.
Yeah.
Not taking it personal. Really looking at yourself. And where can I go better? What have I done wrong? Not pointing a finger at anybody else.
Yeah.
And that shit is hard. And I've done it. I'm doing it. And I will continue to do it because I cannot and I will not become what I was.
Right.
So that's where I'm at today. And I'm not saying that I wasn't harmed, right? Like I'm not, because I was. Deeply. At some of the most inconvenient times. I don't think people realize how much I have gone through when they entered my life, while they were a part of my life, I don't think people realize that.
Right.
And you can't expect a person to be whole while they're losing everything.
Right. Because you kept going. You know what I'm saying? You pushed past all of that. So they're looking at the external.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was going on in the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how can a person know if you don't communicate? And is it a person's fault to not know if you ineffectively communicate? Now, yeah, being thoughtful in a sense of like thinking outside of the everyday,
Right.
right? And that's hard. That's hard because we think of ourselves
I get that.
and we think of just on an everyday basis. And I've done the same. I've negated people's feelings. I have. And that was never my intent, but it doesn't matter. Intentions just don't
Right.
matter. Like, not as much as what you're actually doing. You got to stand on the fact that, yeah, you might not have intended to do this, but you know what? You did. And you got to take accountability for that. And I've got wrapped up in the everyday thing. I've got wrapped up in not seeing or thinking of what a person may internally be feeling. But that's why therapy comes, it comes in and it allows you to do the mundane things like communication. Like,
Yeah.
we lack communication skills. Many of us lack communication skills. Many of us suffer in silence, especially people who externally look resilient, externally can keep pushing past, can look strong. People really take you at face value.
Right.
And it's unfortunate, but this is why we have to learn to communicate better.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn to communicate with ourselves.
We definitely do. Some things you just don't do, though.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to, I know what this is. I know this is a one-sided account. I know you're doing the work of, you're taking the accountability here.
Yeah.
I commend you for that. It's just certain things you just don't do, though. And so effective communication can't stop that.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I agree. So that's where I'm at today. I'm living through a different type of grief.
Right.
It's hard to grieve the living. It's easier to grieve the people who have transitioned.
Yes.
It really is. It's hard to grieve the living.
Yeah. That's crazy. I got that in my notes.
Yeah, man. I'm grieving a person that's less than 5 miles away from me.
Right.
But like I said on the last episode, I've learned to respect boundaries. If this is a boundary that someone is setting, that they no longer wish to deal with me, they no longer wish to hear from me, I respect it. I have to. Because I want my boundaries respected. Because now I have boundaries when I didn't have it before. So that's where I'm at.
And then you can rest also in the reading.
Yeah.
I hope that does give you like some solace.
It does, but it's still hard.
Yeah, I'm not saying that takes away from it being hard at all, because it doesn't. But I don't know. It's like
Yeah, but when you're dealing with like the spiritual side of it, there's no timeline. Like, time doesn't exist in the spiritual realm. So even if you're a visionary, even if we call it psychic abilities, you can see, you can hear, you can feel, you can smell, whatever. There's no time attached to that. So you don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It could be 50 years from now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, hold on. Take a sip.
I got you. The homie done walked off to try to get the camera right. Need the sip, man. This is crazy. I really didn't think I was gonna cry this much.
Oh, I did.
My soul aches, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real type of love. You know, at least I guess to try to make this a positive, at least I could say I've loved, or I've found that. There's some people that feel like they never found that. You know what I mean? And I think that's also very sad. But at least I know I'm not like this broken vessel.
Yeah.
So for you, I know that this is extremely hard for you. This is something that you have not talked about publicly at all. You've handled this situation with extreme grace, extreme maturity, a lot of strength, and honestly, a lot of love. But you two have experienced a divorce.
Yes. So my divorce was finalized January 18th, 2024. Just January that just passed, which is exactly a month after what would have been our, I think, 8-year anniversary.
Mm.
Yeah.
8 years married.
8 years married. We were together for about 13, 14 years.
That's your whole life, dog.
Yes. So, going into this, like I wasn't even aware that grief could apply to something other than losing loved ones,
Right.
people. And so I've definitely learned that, you can experience the grief of losing a relationship.
Yes.
I didn't think anything could get harder for me than my grandma passed at the end of 2020. So like December, the end of 2020 going into 2021, I didn't think anything could get harder for me. Last year was the absolute worst year of my life. It was the hardest year of my life. Just dealing with everything that I was dealing with that year.
Yeah.
It hasn't been easy, and nothing can prepare you for it. Nothing prepares you for the trauma of like losing a relationship when you didn't see it coming, especially. I'm trying not to
release
get
it.
anxious.
Oh yeah, don't get I don't want you to get anxious, but
you're losing the person who like was there with you like during your past self, like during your present self, and losing the future that you envisioned for yourself is hurtful. Nobody tells you like about that. I remember like us talking, and you were saying I think you had gone through a breakup, and you were saying like, that person held all of your memories, like the pictures and stuff of you, like you just lose so much. And I do think that it's harder than when a loved one transitions, going through like the loss of a relationship. I think that is harder doing this, because when a person dies and like you're fortunate to like lay them to rest, there's finality in that. There's closure in that.
Yeah.
When it's a relationship, there's no closure in that sometimes.
Yeah. It's okay.
And when you're married, like, it's so much that you lose. Like, how do you've taken on like a whole other family, like they've become your family. How do you just discard that? What do you do like with the love that you still have for them and that they still have for you? So this has been the hardest like thing for me. um I can't explain how it feels to be like in my shoes, like to be with someone for so long and to just feel discarded, to watch them and know that they've moved on within months of leaving your presence. I can't explain how hurtful that is.
Yeah.
And it's made me like review everything. You know what I'm saying? For you to be able to enter into another relationship within months means that you left a long time ago.
Facts.
And to know like how hard I was on myself to figure it out, to get it right. As my friend, like, you know how hard I tried. You know, like, how much I tried to change, like things I gave up, trying to figure it out. I can't tell you how hard it is to have someone like know what their expectations of you are and won't tell you what they are. So how am I ever supposed to get it right? So that means like you don't really want me to get it right.
Right.
You don't want me to be the one. So like finding all of this out at the end though, knowing that like you really didn't want to marry me. Like you had reservations and the only reason why you did it is because someone told you you just had cold feet.
Wow.
This is just cold feet. And then you get into it and whatever reservations you had, whatever it was that you never told me about, you're like, oh, everything. And so then you start subconsciously treating the person away. Like because you feel some type of way that I did this thing because they told me I had cold feet and it wasn't true. Now you probably feel stuck. And so like now you're treating me and I didn't know any of this until the end. So I feel crazy. You talk about embarrassment, like I really tried so hard. And people pleasers, man, like I know we get like a bad rep. I don't want to claim being a people pleaser because now that I'm aware that I'm trying to like not be that. But look at the environments that we was in, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that the way that he was treating me was a direct result of how I grew up with how my father's like, you know, treated me. It felt like I always had to do the thing to be able to, for them to want to be in relationship with me. If I got good grades, if I behaved, if I did this, if I did that, then they'll want to have a relationship with me. So my whole life, I never like straight off the path. Like I know like I was very straight laced, you know what I'm saying, growing up.
Facts.
I was super straight laced. Like even when I came up here for high school, like I didn't want to get back. I remember I got a C one time in chemistry. I was so upset. I remember the girl on the bus was like, she looked at my report card. The rest of it's like A's and B's, but I had one C, and I was so hard on myself because it's like I messed up. And
You didn't want to see my report card. It was bad.
so like when you grow up like that and then you enter into a relationship, at the first sign of a person showing you you've done something wrong or like this ain't it, you revert back to those old things. And I had done that, and I wasn't aware, you know what I'm saying? But I knew that early on in the relationship. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to find out how to make it right. So I remember like just having all of these feelings of like not being good enough, like questioning like what is it about me like that's not good, you know what I mean? What do I have to change? Why do I have to change? You know, I remember sitting outside like before I went into the house, like checking myself again to make sure I looked okay before I went in. You know what I mean? I
Wow.
remember like having to like I can't play the game like as much. I can't, you know, be on as much.
You literally, we talked about this in a previous episode. I don't know which one. I think it was the video game episode, actually. You literally attempted to transform everything about yourself into what they seemed like they wanted. And it's so challenging it was so challenging as your friend, because you and I are polar opposites in that regard. You are by the book a people pleaser. I am by the book defiant. I'm gonna do the opposite of everything you tell me to do. I'm gonna do the opposite. I stayed off the straight and narrow path. The path. Oh, you want me to take this path? I'm gonna take this John over here.
Yeah.
You know, so I think us being polar opposites, I was able to pick up on what was happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember we were on the game. It wasn't just me. It was the homies on the game too. Like, yo, this ain't right. And I remember it was about your hair. You wanted to go natural. It literally is like everything that you wanted to do for yourself innately, like what you were interested in for yourself, that person made you feel small in. Like that person made you feel like it wasn't good enough. And I remember saying like, yo, like, nah, you know, but that was your path. And you had to come to those terms yourself. There's really nothing that a person can say. There's no advice a person can give. You literally have to see it yourself. But
Yeah.
it was hard to witness. You transform like throughout the years of like knowing you since we were kids. Now we're young adults. I knew you when you came up in high school, what it was. And you were sheltered on both sides of your family. So you got the double whammy, yo. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of was like that little bad kid on your shoulder. You know, I'm like, nah. You know, I was that.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still that. Nah. Not as bad, and not as defiant and disobedient, but still like, nah, I still got that I still have that spirit.
Yeah.
That nah spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to see you transform into like adulthood when you would come back to Jersey and we would get back together, and that's where our friendship really cultivated, and all of the interest that you literally was like becoming yourself. You were finding different interests, you were getting into things, you were like blooming and blossoming into yourself. And like that relationship and it happening so soon and it being like one of your only relationships.
Yeah. I think that's
why
it
was
so
tough.
Heavy too, because, you know, it was the first for me in multiple aspects. You know what I'm saying? So that's always difficult. And so because he wouldn't like he would say I have to please understand that I'm speaking from my account, doing the best I can to make some sense of it or come up with my own like reasonings, because he never gave me a reason.
Right.
Like, even when he was telling me he didn't want to be with me, like, I was like, people are going to ask why, and I'm not going to be able to tell them anything. And then he was like, well, I can go think about it. Please, please, please. So from the little things that I recall him picking up on, like, he would say things like, oh, I wish you would have been a gamer like before this. What I'm thinking is that he felt like, we got married and I was off on my own in my own place, and now I'm doing all of the things that maybe I couldn't do, like on just someone else's roof. I don't know because he never like he would just say things and I have to like try to make sense of it, on my own. But I do think that he felt like maybe I was like taking advantage of him, like I'm doing all of the fun things that I want to do, and the responsibility of things like rested solely on his shoulders.
Right.
I could understand how that's frustrating, but that means that you're never looking to me like as a partner, like either.
Right.
Like even later on, down the years, I've progressed in my career and different things like that, and he was worrying about like trying to transition careers, and he's like, well, what if I have to do something where I have to take a pay cut to go up? And I was like, then we could just switch. Like, then it could be like on me. And I'm realizing in that moment, like, you're not even like considering me as an option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to go through that like for so long.
Yeah.
It's just been hard, and it's caused me to like develop like bad habits. And the way that I like thought about myself, I have not been like very kind to myself, and how I thought about myself and the way I looked. And even in how I show up in other relationships with my friendships, I really noticed it like with you and starting a business and stuff, how deep rooted these things are, how I feel like I can't even come to you with like a semblance of an idea. I feel like I have to have it all figured out first before I even say anything.
Right.
Like, because I'm used to, and I said this before in like the mental health episode, like just being watched. And I remember he would say things to me like, well, you kind of don't, the things that you used to like or, used to do, like you don't do them because I'm depressed. So I'm like, I'm falling back from all of the things. And I didn't have anyone around me who noticed that. Like I'm in deep depression. I'm falling back from the things that even I like to do. I want to do things and I write them down. I remember like I wanted to like do decor or whatever in the house. So I wrote all of these things down that I wanted, and he read it. But it's like, you don't see me not doing the things. You're looking at it and seeing me not doing it and saying, well, there she go again. She don't ever like follow through with what she wants to do. When really I just need help to do it.
Right.
So I can't do it on my own.
Right. I was saying this to you yesterday, man. Depression literally takes everything from you.
Everything.
Because depression is everything and nothing. It's everything. It just seeps into everything. And a lot of times you don't have the verbiage. Like, you literally don't have the words for it. You don't even know that you're experiencing it. And I was telling you yesterday, like in my depression, I used to get defensive when people would say, is something wrong?
Yeah.
Nah, you're not wrong. I'm good. I got this. You know what I mean? And I said it in a previous episode, you don't know how far gone you are until you start to find yourself.
Yeah.
You don't know how bad things are until you start to feel good, finally.
Yeah.
Like you don't know.
But yeah, even and I remember like things happening, like, we know now that I have the information that when you're in depression, like one of the things sometimes you do when you come out of it is you start cleaning everything. So I had a bad depressive like funk. And when I came out of it, I cleaned the whole like crazy. Like I'm going in there and what was his like little office or whatever. Like I'm dusting like everything. Yeah. And I remember him saying to me, like, he felt like that's the first time like that I cared. It was like, you didn't notice that like I was in a depressive funk.
Right.
And I came out of it. So it's just like I didn't have any grace.
I'm gonna be honest. We hear about depression so often. It's one of the things that's handled with the least amount of grace. I literally was married to a psychiatrist.
Mm. Yeah.
Let that sink in. Married to a psychiatrist. And the only thing they offered was medication instead of help.
Yeah.
Someone who went to school for 8 years. 8 years. 4 of those years, med school. Another 4, being a psychiatrist. And I still didn't get handled with no grace with my mental illness.
Yeah.
And a lot of the mental illness was brought on by that relationship.
Yes. Yes.
No grace.
0.
0. Zilch.
Nada.
Nada. So that let me know that it doesn't matter how much you're quote unquote educated in it. People are people, yo. And a lot of times people don't think outside of their own desires, outside of their own expectations, outside of their own wants. They don't see you.
Yeah.
You don't even see you a lot of times.
Yeah.
They don't see you. What they see is how you're not meeting up to the standard.
And that's it.
And they don't even, I want to go as far as to say a lot of people don't even care as to why. Especially in our generation.
Yeah.
We throw each other away so effortlessly.
Yeah.
But the vows really be for better or for worse. I was saying this to the homie the other day because they were talking about marriage. Like, yo, a lot of people get married in their 20s and by the time they 30, they don't want to be married to these people anymore because they're different people. You made a commitment. You made a commitment before God.
Let's pause it right there. We're going to hit that on the swing back.
Bet.
Because I have that. I've been saying, we're going to hit that on the swing back.
What I do want to bring up though, because you and I are on the opposite side on a lot of things. I was with a people pleaser most recently. You are a people pleaser. And I think that for me, right, like I had to fight for everything in my life. So I'm a taker a lot of times, like God. And it's even viewed as manipulative. And I have been manipulative at times, you know what I'm saying? But what I can say is, I believe on the second episode we did, I talked about my most recent ex. And I said, I'm in partnership with the people pleaser. And we're working on them not being a people pleaser with me, and then in hopes that it expands and it touches other relationships that they have in their lives, because what I realized is I don't know this person. I felt blindsided by a lot of things that they brought to my attention because they've spent so much time being a people pleaser. I don't know who they are. I don't know what your true desires are outside of you wanting to please me, outside of you wanting to meet a standard, outside of you feeling like you have to do that. And a lot of the disagreements, a lot of the breakups were blindsided to me. I really felt blindsided. But for them, it's like, how did you not recognize it? You're a people pleaser. And it's tough being with a people pleaser, just as much as it's tough to be with a person who's just going to take. Both things need to do away with. You know what I'm saying? I know that now. So I've worked extremely hard on not being a taker, on not feeling like I have to like pillage everything. Like I got to take because someone is there to take it from me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay to rest on peace. it's easier to keep things sweet when it's sweet than to try to make it sweet again. I know these things now, but also to give grace to people who are people pleasers and create a safe space. And I've learned that through you. I've literally learned that through you. You know what I mean? Like I say to you, like, yo, I don't care if it's the most minute thought or idea, share it. Because you don't know what that small seed can blossom into. But you literally, for a long time, never had a safe space where you can give those small things. Because maybe it was viewed as incomplete. Maybe it was viewed as you not trying enough. You not trying hard enough. You know, you not completing something. Sometimes your thoughts and feelings are never complete. Sometimes they're not complete when you bring it to the table. And the table is where you find the completion. I know that now. And I think that I've learned love through Cool in Real Life. Like in the midst of frustration, I've been frustrated, and you know this, like I've been frustrated. But I've learned to still handle you gently, even in the midst of my frustrations. And I never knew how to do that before. Because I never was given that, right? Like I'm on the opposite side. Like when I would disappoint people, I would get my ass kicked. You know what I mean? When I would cause like a disruption, I would get my head kicked in. And with me being a rebellious person, well, if you're going to do it, then do it. You know what I'm saying? But like, I've learned how to handle you with care. And by way of handling you with care, I've realized that that is handling myself with care. That I'm not just creating a safe space for you, but I'm creating a safe space for me. Because just as gentle as you are, I'm just as gentle. I just maybe have like some crazy hardened exterior. So I thank you for that. I'm thankful that I'm learning these things. I've also learned through my friends that, yo, there's people that literally don't operate like some of the things that I've experienced, don't even think to operate like that.
Yeah.
I've had several of y'all say, that's wild. I would have never even thought to do nothing like that. And it made me think like, damn. So why am I involved with people that's doing it?
Yeah.
And then it made me realize that I don't have to not only be involved with people that's doing it, but I don't have to do it. We learning, man.
Yeah. It's been like my biggest journey of education, you know, this. Just realizing how I operated in that relationship and how I operate, you know, in my current life still. Like even with you, like if I don't hear from you for like 2 days, because we be going hard, especially right up until the end, we have to release an episode. We just need a break.
Yeah.
But to me, it's, what did I do wrong? Is she upset at me? Like, did I forget to do something? Whole time you over here like, man, I ain't heard from her in 2 days. Let me check her location, see where she at. Oh, she at home because I don't go outside. You know what I'm saying? But that's my innate thought, and I have to like work on like combating that. But I be over here like stressing if I don't hear from you sometimes. For that,
that's crazy.
It's my initial thought. Like I have to. That's the work that I got to do, because that's not nothing that you're doing.
I'm gonna tell you why it's crazy. Because I feel like, all right, let me leave her alone. Because I be going extra. I be hitting this group chat too damn hard. Let me shut up. Or it'd be like I'm working and our lives are like we are on opposite spectrums on a lot of things, even though we have a lot of commonalities. Like my life is I'm up at night, I sleep during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I save my off time to just enough to get the stuff out, and then boom, I'm right to work.
Right.
So I'm probably sleep, dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not anything that you're doing like,
Yeah.
that's not anything for you to take on. That's for me to work on.
Right.
And so, I'm doing that, but I don't like associating myself like with trauma,
Yeah.
but like realizing that this relationship was like very traumatic for me.
Yeah.
Having like more than one person say like this is emotional abuse is hard to like hear.
Yeah.
And like own.
Right.
Because I don't think that there was malicious intent, with it.
Right.
He's just used to like a certain type of woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
He has strong women, in his family. His mom like always would just like figure it out. His sisters want to do something, they're going to go get that education and they're going to go do it. Like he's strong women, and I'm just not that. I don't think that I was like not that I'm not strong, but like I wasn't strong in the sense that he was used to.
Then go be with your mama.
I don't know. Like I said,
I'm Harriet Tubman, beloved.
I'm just
go
trying
get Harriet Tubman. You dig what I'm saying? Not to be funny, but it's like, just like you're not gonna let me do certain things, I can't let you do certain things, because it's not fair to be with the person and you know that they're not that, but then punish them for not being that.
Yeah.
Or find fault in them not being that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I used to call myself toxic court. A term I will never ever wear again, ever. I used to think it was cute. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's not cool. But I used to say, like, yo, man, like talking about my most previous ex, like, yo, I love everything about her. She looks so good to me. I'm attracted to her. Whatever she comes to me with, yeah, babe, like, yeah, I like it, because I liked her.
Yeah.
I not only loved her, I liked her as a person. You know what I mean? I liked her mind. I liked her interest. I liked everything about her, that I never wanted to change her because I was inspired by her so much. I don't think she knew that. And that's not a regret from mine, but something that I need to learn to do more of, because I keep a lot in. But like, she inspired me. She brought so much to me. I never wanted to change her. And I think the hardest part is like her explaining to me that she felt like she had to make herself small to stand next to me.
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, if only you knew, right? But for you to tell me the things that you would experience, I'm like, yo, that person don't like you.
And that's the biggest thing. Like,
yeah.
I remember one time my uncle was saying, like, this is what you do when you love a person. Like, you do this and this and that. And I remember, I don't remember the details because I kind of like checked out, because as he's describing the things, I'm realizing like, this isn't anything that I have. And I remember saying like, Jamar don't like me like that. Just blurting out like a natural reaction. He don't like me like that. And then I went home and I had that same conversation with him. And I think like I said it because I was hoping that he would tell me like, that's not true. And he didn't. He just like kind of like looked at me like, well. And even still, every time something like that would happen, like that's so hurtful. That's so demoralizing. It was like, I felt like the nigga on Sparks on 300, I got kicked down that well. That's what it felt like every single time. And I had to claw my way out, my own self, every time. And every time I made it back out, it would kick me back down there again. And every time he would say something like that or not, I wouldn't take it as, this is a red flag. I would take it as, I got to try harder. I got to figure it out. Because if a person is saying to you, just because like, we're married or, did this, made these vows or whatever, it doesn't mean that you have to stay. We're looking at marriage fundamentally different, like how you
Yeah.
conduct yourself in it. So like I'm operating for years with the fact that if I don't figure this out, he's gonna leave. That's a fear. I'm operating like in fear. It ended up happening,
Yeah.
but like there's so much turmoil that like you go through when you operate like that every day. Like I didn't have most people have like fight or flight. Like I would freeze. I would just like go into myself. I wouldn't do like anything because it's like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I can't figure this out. And then like not knowing at the time, like I had anxiety. Like that was I just can't explain like
Yeah.
emotionally, what it was like. But I was always like just trying to get us back to a place. I would go like read letters that he used to write to me in boot camp or like on different things just to remember how he felt about me. Like I was fighting to get back to a place that we was never going to get back to again because we weren't those people anymore.
Was it that you weren't those people anymore, or was it that you never were those people?
I think that who we were at a certain point, we got like frozen in time with that. Like we were together, he went off, went to boot camp, like joined the military, you know what I'm saying? And like we grew apart as people. Like we weren't together physically.
I can't let you do that.
What you mean?
I can't let you do that because you were that person. Think about it. You went off to boot camp. For a minute, you was gone. It's the same as somebody going to prison.
Okay.
They be romanticizing. But a lot of it is not rooted in reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you were that person because you remained that person even when y'all came back together.
But I think I did change a little bit.
You did change as a fundamental person, like your personal self, but you never changed in how you operated in that relationship. You never changed in how you viewed that person. You still were madly in love with that person. You adored that person. You actually liked that person. You cared about that person, right? When that person came back, they tried to change you. You guys never were, and this is just me being court dating in mad relationships. You never were together. Like you guys, the beginning of y'all relationship, y'all were not together. A lot of the beginning of your relationship was by letter. You see what I'm saying? So, the right thing for that man to do would have been to sit you down and say, I don't feel the same from the gate.
Right.
Not fake the funk and keep it going.
It would have been easier. And I told him, like, we probably should have never gotten married. Like, and I wasn't emotionally mature enough at the time to take that as anything other than rejection. But it would have been so much easier to have dealt with that at the beginning than go through years of essentially you're punishing me because I'm not this person. I don't think that I'm his type like at all. Like I don't even know like the women he had before me, during me, after me is nothing like me.
During you.
I said what I said. They're nothing like me. So I don't even know why he was over here like that. Like,
hold on, let me fix my pants for this. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull my trousers down a little bit because I'm about to get lit. Let me say this to you. As an aggressive appearing Black woman, most of my friends are heterosexual Black women. All of y'all are stunning. You, my friend, stunning. Now, I ain't attracted to you because you're my best friend. You like my sister. But you're stunning. Okay? You're beautiful. You have a beautiful heart. You have a beautiful mind. You have a beautiful soul. Your spirit is beautiful. You are light. I say this sometimes, like, yo, like, there's people that are in this world that just reminds us of light. That is you. And I seen them girls. And it ain't to negate them, right? It's really to negate him. Because he wasn't real enough to stand on 10 on what he really wanted. And sometimes when you're light, you're going to have people that latch onto you because of your light. Even though they might be drawn to something else, you understand? You're a good person. You're a good woman. You're a great woman. You're secure. You're safe. A lot of people might get latched onto you because they want to play it safe. And that's selfishness, 100% selfishness. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder if it's like more like that girl next door type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the better like you're the great option on paper even. I think some people might view you like that. But it's not about that. You deserve to be with a person that views you in your totality. You deserve a person that doesn't view you as like a rap sheet. And just view you and be with you for you because you're dope, yo. You're dope, man. And I'm done wondering why these Negroes out here be fumbling the bag. Because I got a lot of homegirls, y'all be the bag. Be getting fumbled every time. And I don't get it. But at the end of the day, that's not for us to even figure out. Who cares, man? Like, at the end of the day, I just want you to sit in full confidence that you're the shit.
Yeah, I don't think like
Got the sauce and the juice, man. You know, pause.
when I was like with him, things that I'm doing now, I definitely wasn't doing then. So I could see like I could understand like some frustrating things, but it's like I wanted to though, but it's like I'm so scared to like make a decision because of if I mess up, I'm gonna lose everything. But then like when I would try to do things, I would ask you like, hey, I want to try like doing this, and you would like tell me no, like, you know what I'm saying? And
because you're not you weren't the one that they envisioned for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
and
Like,
you
it's,
could have left me
I get it, but
alone.
people don't do that. People are selfish.
I'm
People are
just so
selfish, man.
like,
All we can do is pray for discernment. All we can do is pray for stronger discernment, intuition. And all we can also pray for is being obedient when we get the message. Like I tell you now, when it feels off, it's off. I don't even need to figure out the why. Because I used to hurt myself trying to figure out the why. I don't even need to know why. If I feel off, if I pray for discernment from God, I don't need to see the why. God is making me feel that it's off. And it's like, I'm going to be honest, yo. You more fly after the joint. Not that you wasn't beautiful before, but I'm telling you, like, you're so beautiful now because now you're stepping into your own. You're stepping into your confidence. You're doing what you want to do. You're living a life that you see and envision for yourself. And you don't need permission. And I think that's what you're working on right there, the permission part. But
it's a lot of work that I have to do. I have to do like a lot of like undoing. Like when you go so long without being filled up like in any way, it's hard. Like I remember after he left, every time I would go out, someone would say how nice I looked.
yeah,
they said it so much I had to ask my mom. I was like, Mom, like what's going on? Like do I look that different? Like, and she was told me, I was like, every time I go somewhere, like somebody tells me you look so, it was right after I just was at my nephew's, like something, his godmom was there, oh, little white lady. And she kept looking at me. Like I saw her like looking at me. She's like, you are gorgeous today. And that's when I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, what's going on?
You are, man.
And she was like, your eyes used to be like gray. Like I was just in a low place. So I think like after he left, maybe, whatever.
You got that glow on you, man.
I don't know, man.
You're beautiful. I'm telling you, I tell you all the time the compliments that come flooding in on how beautiful you are. Yo, if you're watching this episode, I hate to stop and look at the camera, but if you're watching this episode, please put it in a comment. We keep telling y'all, please share how you feel. The homie needs to see and feel how people feel about her. That's another thing that I learned about you. Like, you actually need like the words of affirmation. Like, that's like one of your love languages. So I tell you all the time, like, you beautiful, man. Like, I'm not making it up. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I'm telling you, like, you are stunning. You were smiling today in today's photo shoot. I'm like, bro, like, she's so beautiful. I just be looking at you like, my friend is beautiful. And I promise I'm not making that up. Because you know I'm going to tell the truth. Even when you feel like you off, I'll be like, bro, where? I feel like your beauty is so effortless, man.
It's really. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm really like trying to do better with like accepting things, but if you only knew, like, and I didn't know how bad it was until after it ended and people started asking me questions. So when a guy like asked me like, when's the last time he told you were beautiful? 10 years ago.
Damn. 10 years?
The last time I remember him telling me like, you're so beautiful or you're beautiful was before we even got married. This was after the first time he broke up with me. He was trying to get back with me again. This was 10 years ago. So when you go so long without hearing certain things, I internalize like a lot that I have to. I'm sitting over here, and one of the reasons why like I'm so emotional is because everything that the love that you're describing that you had for your most recent partner, I don't know what that's like from any man of significance in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to be fought for. I don't know what that's like. I don't have that experience. And that's why at my almost big age, I'm 36. When you go so long without something, you learn to adapt.
Yeah.
So that's why I know how y'all feel. And I feel like, especially like as my friends, y'all know, like this was really my first time, my first go at things. You know what I went through, and you don't want me like to give up in a certain sense. I don't care though, because you have a longing to be in a relationship, in a happy, fulfilled relationship. I don't.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, that's true. I have a longing to have that with my person.
I don't. Because like you that. Like what am I drawing from in the past that I can say this was so good I want to experience it again? I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
And so I've just like certain things like that I used to like, okay, words of affirmation is one of my love languages, also physical touch. I've regressed back from like so much because when I'm trying not to like tell too many details, but like when physical touch is your like love language and it's not happening like at all.
Yeah.
Or like I used to be like, never mind, I'm not gonna say that. But like I remember at one point, like I used to just start like hugging him, and he'd be like, "Well, why are you doing this?" Or like, "Well, what's that for?" And it's like, I just need a hug. Now nobody can hug me. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel so
Yeah.
bad. "Oh, sorry, Dana, I love you so much." But like my sisters like be wanting to like hug
She
me
be
and
wanting to
stuff. And
hug you
I'd
so
be
bad.
like, from anybody though, because it's
Yeah.
like I've taught myself like to not long for these things. So now it's like I don't want to be, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm working on like I'm not operating like I don't like to speak in absolutes and say never. If something comes my way and I'm using discernment and it's good, like I'm not gonna like turn it away, but I'm not seeking
Yeah.
another relationship. I'm really not interested. I would just like to go out when I have to and then come back home.
I don't think that as people we should seek that, right? I think that I'm gonna be honest. I met my person because I was doing manifestation work. I manifested Jordan in my life.
Mhm.
And you said your ex's name. I'm gonna say mine. I manifested Jordan in my life. And everything that I prayed for, she showed up as. Now the difficult part of that is she also showed up as a mirror. And like I said, I've done harm and I've been harmed. And I think the mirror part is what made it difficult. But she taught me love. Like, out of everyone I've ever been with, she made me feel beautiful. She made me feel thought of. I would come home from assignments and I told you, I would just find flowers in front of my door, just waiting on me. And I started to second guess that. Like, is that the people pleaser part of them? Or is that really what they want to do for me? You know, so now it's like trying not to assume and go through that rabbit hole. Just accept it, accept the love that they gave. And they just wanted to love me so much. And I think that I'm on the opposite end of you would hug your ex-husband and they would just be like, get off of me because they didn't want you. I wasn't able to receive the affection because I didn't want myself. You see what I'm saying? So it in turn made them feel negated. It in turn made them feel a lack of desire from me. But the reality is I didn't desire myself. It had nothing to do with them. They were one of the best parts of myself. Like I am so proud that I had a chance to experience them. And I really want them to know that. I really want you to know that if you're watching this. Like the most greatest joy of my life, the most greatest moments of my life was shared with them outside of like my children and, you know, my nuclear family. But so I think that's the hardest part, right? Being a person who does love and like and adore and value someone, but because of your lack of feeling that for yourself, it's viewed and it's taken as something different because that's what they experience from me. I got to live with that. And that's what hurts. That's what hurts. It hurts when you contact the person and they think that you're being a manipulator. You're trying to manipulate a situation, or they say things like, even at your best, I choose otherwise. I got to live with that. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know how. I don't know how to live with that, but I'm trying. And I'm done putting my feelings first and negating someone else's, right? Like, I'm simultaneously respecting my feelings while also respecting theirs. And I'm respecting the boundary. But no matter what end of the spectrum whoever's watching this is on, is both hurtful. You know what I mean? Your side is extremely hurtful. And it was really hard to witness you go through that and go through that for so long. And I don't think that myself or maybe even your friends and family knew the extent. It was like once it kind of dissolved, that's when you started to open up about a lot of it. Um, and instead of like feeling pity for you, I started to self-reflect instead. You know what I mean? Like, was I this way? Did I make a person feel this way? And not just taking it like, well, if I did make a person feel this way, I'm sorry. Like, sorry is okay. Like, of course, to feel remorse, that's good, right? But instead of just that, it's like, I want to change. And I don't ever want a person to feel that way by having a connection with me. I never want a person to feel that way again. I never want a person to feel small next to me, ever. I never want a person to feel like I lack empathy. Ever. Like, I never want to make a person feel like a lack of desire. You know what I'm saying? Like, or a lack of love or a lack of value. Nah, man. And I realized that, like, I had to kind of like shield myself. That I used to be like this very gentle person, a very sensitive person. And it's kind of like when you grow up in a harsh environment, it hardens you. And you have no control over that. It's either like you're going to fight or die, you're going to sink or swim. I chose to swim. But you never know what type of person you're going to come out of those waters as. And I came out of those waters everything but myself. I came out of those waters wearing 100% trauma. And realizing that I'm so buried inside. And if I could take anything away from my most previous relationship, is that I just thank them for showing me that, like, I'm not this heartless person. I'm not this person that lacks love or this person who lacks empathy or can't feel. You know what I mean? Like, I really used to say, like, I'm broken. Like, I'm like damaged goods. I used to really think that of myself because of my childhood. I really thought that of myself. And I'm not saying that I never experienced love as a child. I did, but like when the abuse is so bad, it really overrides all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have the answers. I really don't. I'm trying to figure it out like the next person. But I'm super proud of myself for not giving in, for not just allowing the waves to just take over me. Now I'm swimming in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for making the waters calm. Like, I'm not in a riptide. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like I'm swimming for my life. I feel like I'm learning to float. And I thank God for that. I thank God for calming the waters. And I pray that you feel that as well. The homie done walked off to try to fix this camera because it keep timing out. But yo, you taught me a lot too. You taught me a lot. When it ended, when I tell you you remained graceful, you taught me that even in experiences that you may not agree with, even when you're being treated unfairly or you're being treated in a way that you don't want to be treated or handled in a way you don't want to be handled, that you can still choose God in the midst of all of that. Like those things, and it kind of ties into what you said last episode. Like, it was unfair for me to go through things that you would go through so that I could teach you. But that's not entirely true because you taught me a lot too. You taught me a lot, man.
It was so hard.
I
It's
know.
still hard.
Yeah.
Like, to not even like have divorce papers yet, like just a few months removed, and see that,
Yeah.
and not react emotionally. You know how much I wanted to say anything.
Yeah.
Like how much I wanted him to hurt, how much like I wanted to like embarrass him, like I was embarrassed seeing that. You know how bad I wanted to just put like single on that. As soon as I seen that post, like seeing how I wanted to just single, but I
Word.
knew that that was gonna cause like an influx of questions. Here you are, he over here in this fresh relationship. They don't deserve that. Let me just remove it quietly. I shouldn't give a damn about what, and I don't. But in that moment, I was like, if I do this, if I put single on my end, knowing the post that he just made, like people are gonna start asking questions. And that's gonna cause turmoil for them, and they're doing this. So let me just like take it away quiet. You know how hard that was? I'm not even on. I had to get off of the whole app.
Facts.
Period. Like
Still
I
off
don't
of
want
it.
to. I'm still off of it because I don't want to. Facebook is disrespectful. You can say, "Hey, don't show me this person and don't show me this date," and it's gonna show it It kept showing me things anyway, so I had to remove myself because I wasn't in a place where I could handle seeing it,
Yeah.
and I wasn't in a place at the time where I could not go look. I was seeing like posts and stuff, and it's like throwing me into just a level of hurtfulness, and I was like, I can't. Clearly, I don't have self-control enough to not go look. Let me like start blocking people, like start removing or just remove myself. And that's what I had to do. Now I don't have like I don't have the desire. We were talking about this yesterday. I don't go look at like what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like why would I do that? Like I don't. So I haven't, like, like since that time, but like it was hard. But who you are after the relationship is who you were the whole time.
Hmm.
So I am determined to continue to handle myself with grace in this situation with grace.
Wow. That gives me hope. When you say who you were after the relationship is who you were the whole time. Cause I think like you tell me all the time, like, yo, you really doing good. You know what I mean? You're handling it well, or you're reacting to certain things better. And that's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard not to fall back on bad behavior. It's hard not to hurt people that you feel are hurting you. Or to be impulsive even. You know how many times I just want to impulsively just hit this person up?
Yes.
Like, and the pain of not doing that. Like, it's to exhibit self-control is so painful.
Yes. Especially when you don't have any answers, when you don't have, closure, when everybody else is out here thinking, when the other person is like, oh, we just doing our own thing. We ain't doing nothing. You're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm out here fighting for my life.
Facts. Facts.
So I really wanted to like get a whole, get everything out and like hopefully tie it up with a bow. That's not going to happen. I'm still clearly like in an emotional place and I'm working through it, and I will continue to do that in therapy.
Yeah.
But I will say that my friends have shown up for me, and of course family. I don't want to keep giving I don't want to keep having to say in my family too, like, of course, because I notice you doing that too. Let's just please, I hope y'all know that this is a
Our
given.
tribe.
Family, it's a given. We mean you. So
our tribes.
Yes, of course y'all are included. But my friends have shown up for me and loved me with intention. Like I remember, I hope I don't cry, because I remember you telling me, and it like it I was taken aback. I'm not gonna lie, when you said it, you were like, I'm gonna tell you these things because I know you need to hear it, because I know that's how you need to be loved. I've never had anybody expressly and innately love me on purpose like that and tell me. Like it knocked me back because I was like, I don't know what this feels like. But my friends continue to show me that it's capable. If you want to, you will love me in the way that I need to be. It's not that hard. Like the way my little sister moved in with me, the day he left, she moved in the next day.
Wow.
How she handles me. If I write something down, like before I'm in a situation where I wrote all of these things down that I want to do, and the person just looked at it and didn't help me accomplish it when I didn't. If I say something that I want to do, if I write something down, she's going to be like, okay, bet. Here come a Pinterest note, a Canva this, or whatever. She going to write it down and make it happen. We going to do
Shout
it
out Dana,
together.
man. Dana.
Shout out to Dana.
Shout out Dana, man.
I've never had that before.
Yeah.
So then when he's coming back into because he used to have to come back to do things. When you're coming back, we have all of these new things and you're like, oh, every time I come in here, something different. That's because like I have someone who desires to help me do these things. I've never had that before. So my friendships, my family, they have y'all have shown me like that I am capable of being loved when you want to. So thank you.
But let me expound on that from my side, right? That's me healing. Me in my transformation and in my healing has turned me into a better lover because I had to do the shadow work and I had to go inward and realize in all the ways I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times when we approach relationships, especially, I don't know what it is about like close relationships, like wives, husbands, girlfriends, whatever, partners. A lot of times we approach those connections with how we want to be loved, how we think, what we think love is. We negate the fact that love is really seeing a person, like truly seeing a person and seeing what they need, what they define love as for themselves and showing up like that. I did not do that. I didn't know to do it. I didn't have the wherewithal. And once I had the wherewithal, now I have to do better. And now I don't show up with like how Courtney views love. I show up how Alex views love. I show up how my Dukes views love, how Hunt and Liam view love, even how my exes view love. Because love is respecting a boundary, right? That is how I can love you now. Love has transformed, right? So I now know that love is what a person defines it as to be for themselves. And it is my duty, if I say I love you, to give you the love that you desire. And I expect that in return. But before I expect it from someone else, I expect to give it to myself. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. And I know that you're not trying to be my teacher in any of this. I know you're not wanting to be a teacher in any of this, right? But I'm just thankful that I can show up. And I'm thankful that I have a person in my life and I have people in my life that say, Courtney, like you're really showing up for me. And I thank you for that. You're showing up for me in a way that I need you to show up for me. And I thank you for that. Because a lot of times I would try to show up, you don't know, people don't communicate, or you're just trying to get it right. You're trying to do the things. And I remember like, I used to want to do like really, really big things for my ex. Because that's how I would view love, like, because really, really big things were never given to me. And I just wanted them to feel so valued. And they would be like, it's not the big things, it's the little things. And I never understood, well, what are the little things? Like, how can I do little things? Because my whole life, I never felt like I was given the big things. Until I had to realize, like, I'm viewing loving them as what maybe I should be viewing as loving myself. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you giving the feedback. I think a lot of times when people do good things for us, we got to give them the feedback. A lot of times that don't happen.
Right.
It's always the negatives. It's always what you ain't doing right.
Right.
But when a person is doing right, they need the feedback. Like, thank you for loving me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being there. You know. And I think we do that all the time now. Like, I think we're very expressive. You know.
Yeah.
And I also look at it like with dealing with death and dying, it's like I never want to leave here and have people not know how I felt about them. Or I never want to leave out of a connection with people not knowing how I felt. Like when I'm out of here, like you gonna be able to stand tall in how Courtney felt about you. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna be able to say, yo, my friend loved me. And, you know, the only reason why I want that is because I have connections where people didn't feel loved by me, even though I loved them the deepest. So that's where I'm at with it, man. I'm glad I could be there for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could be there for you. I realized that this isn't maybe like something that we put down and like walk away from. Every day is like a new learning experience. Sometimes it feels like every day is ground zero.
That's a fact. Like, even with like all of the work, that I've been doing for the last 2 years, you know, sometimes I still get knocked back to like ground zero. It still feels just as fresh. But like my therapist was like, thank God like you're not in your 60s and it like experiencing this. Like y'all could have had kids together, like so much could have happened, like you're getting out early, and she'd be saying like this divorce saved your life.
Mm.
And it probably did. Who knows like how much we wouldn't be doing this.
Nah. Buddy would have been hating.
What?
Buddy was a hater, yo. You know, me saying buddy is actually nice because
I'm so proud of
you
you.
know what I call that
Yes, I
man?
do. Thank you. Don't say it. Thank
I
you.
ain't gonna say it because
Okay.
I'm trying to arrive. You know what I'm saying? But Buddy really was just like I said it like, yeah. It's crazy how people see all of these good things in you. They know that you're capable of doing them, and then once you start doing them, they're not there. Or they are there to be a distractor, or there to tell you that your thoughts are not good, and you know what I mean? Or giving support from a distance. It's just like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to witness that, but also what I will say is I'm so thankful for all of the people that do support us. I know that it's hard, right? Because like the one person that you want to support you ain't even around. I like that's how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? But I know that that's like a thought that doesn't belong to me. I know that that's like a low vibrational thought because the amount of support that we receive is so vast. It's just like I'm so thankful for it. And I can't allow myself to sit in the sorrow, and I can't allow myself to look in the views and the likes and see that the one person that I want there is not there. I think that that's easy to feel that way, but it's harder to be like, nah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had wrote some stuff down.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to those once I say this last thing.
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
wrap it up.
Yeah.
Um so a tool that has helped me the most with this
Mm-hmm.
was I'm not responsible for not meeting expectations that weren't communicated to me. So if there's anybody like in my position or going through like whatever, if that piece of advice can help you, please use it. Cause it's every time I felt myself drowning under the weight of not getting it right. How can I get something right when you didn't tell me? Like, if you didn't communicate your expectations, how can I ever meet them?
Or communicate in the moment, or communicate with love.
Yeah.
Don't be communicating in disagreement and
Mm-hmm.
argument. You know what I mean? Like that's not communicating effectively. Communicate in the moment with love. As Black people, we just got to learn how to deal with disappointments better. We really do. Like we don't handle disappointments well. It's like when a person disappoints us, we be so ready to discard them.
Yeah.
We got to stop that. We don't handle each other with care. We don't handle each other with love. Our generation especially,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us are single. A lot of us have failed relationships. A lot of us are jumping from person to person. A lot of us are listening to these accounts online that's telling us all of the therapeutic shit that bring forth no real healing,
Yeah.
that make us feel like victims and make us feel right in our positions and force us to not look inward.
Yeah.
We got to stop that, man. Like, everything is not what you be saying, horseshoes and
Heart stars, horseshoes, clovers, and balloons.
yeah. I even started to think like, yo, a lot of times love is painful. Cause it's painful to grow.
Sometimes it is. And that's why I say people don't want to be in love. They want companionship. You want somebody to do the fun stuff. You want somebody who has similar interests to you. Oh, let's watch this anime. Oh, let's go out to this movie. Oh, let's go out to eat. Oh, let's do this fun stuff. Love is sometimes painful. People don't want to be in love anymore. They want a companion.
Facts.
That's one thing.
Expound on that though. Because the companionship is good, right?
Yeah.
It's something that we need.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be in companionship. But like how I said, my ex was a mirror. That was love. To be able to see myself. They left that relationship saying, I don't know why I would do the things. You were always that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was so buried down within you to be that, it was you. I was a reflection of you and you were a reflection of me. We were one in that. That's love. It's love that I saw myself in you enough to get it right and change.
Mm-hmm.
That's love.
Yeah.
People don't want that. Like, and that goes into the marriage thing. Because
Right.
I don't want to forget that thought. When homie was like, yo, a lot of people get married in their 20s. And then by the time they're mid-30s, they don't want it anymore because they're different people. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what about when you're in your 30s and now you're in your 50s and 60s and you are not who you were when you were 30?
Right.
That is not what marriage is.
It's not. And that's why I want people to take a little bit more time to think about it, because when you take those vows, first of all, people be saying to death do us part and they don't mean it.
No, they don't.
When you take those vows and you make that covenant before God, that means something. And people like are just like, well, I'm not happy. This isn't working. I tried all that I could try, that I know how to do, so I'm just going to dip. And that's not, to me, that's not acceptable. Because that's not what I got up there and made the vows before God with. I think women should take more time, especially, to ask yourself, what are your expectations out of your husband? I think a lot of times we put so much emphasis on meeting their needs. What do they want? Are you asking yourself, what are my expectations? What am I expecting out of this? That's not a question that I asked myself. You know what I'm saying? So like, can I really be upset? I can be upset at how things went and how he handled me during it. But at the end of the day, I'm not the person that he wanted. And someone who would treat me like that is not someone who I would want to be with.
Right.
So there's that.
But also, fellas, like, I hear about a lot of fellas who jump into that commitment because they may be afraid that somebody else will jump into it with them. Maybe they feel like they're missing out on a good thing. This is a good woman on paper. This is somebody who's safe. This is somebody who creates a safe space, a home. They do love me. You know what I mean? Like, or I have a child with this person and I don't want my child to grow up in separate homes. So I'm going to remain in the marriage just for the sake of the child. That is not okay.
Yeah, no.
That is not okay. There's now people saying that the most single people are married people. That is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you get up there and you say those vows, and it's not even just marriage, right? When you call somebody your person, that gotta stand for something. What does that mean? Yo, people just be saying that loosely, yo.
Yeah.
And that's weird to me. Cause I stand on that. If I say that you're my person, you are my person.
Mhm.
That I not just want to do this life with, I want to do all existence with.
Yeah.
I meant that when I said that to my ex. I mean that. You are my person. And the reality is you're making the commitment to not just love a person through all of their transformations, but to value a person through all of their transformations, learn a person through all of their transformations, experience their transformations, be willing and wanting to experience the transformation, how beautiful that is.
Right.
But we be stepping in with expectations. And I've been guilty of this. I want somebody that do this. Instead of just wanting a person and how they show up. And I'm not saying that we always show up the right way. There's always room for growth and development. But at the same time, it's like, we got to stop trying to like curate people.
Right. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with having expectations.
Yeah.
And but when they don't show up as that, like, you can show them how.
Or if you know that that's not who that person is, leave them alone.
With certain things, yes. I think that when you're in a marriage, especially, or in a relationship, like, there's nothing wrong with like adapting
Facts.
if it's within your means.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about like a situation where someone is trying to literally change you as a person.
I feel that. Then it's a no.
That's a no. You know what I mean? Or you feel as though you have to make yourself small to stand next to somebody. That is a no. Or if you're allowing your own insecurities, because this is what I've experienced, you're allowing your own insecurities to make yourself feel small next to a person, and you're
Right.
blaming them for that.
Exactly. Thank you.
I dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here like, I'm like, do you realize like what I went through to get to what I have?
Right. Mm-mm.
I went through hell.
Right.
With gasoline draws on.
Mm-hmm.
Forget Constantine. I didn't beam right out of that John. I was in it.
Yeah.
For a long time, for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, how dare you even be envious?
Right. Right.
And the reality is, you don't have to be envious with me, because you can have whatever you want from me. But I realized that if I'm not feeling life within myself, I could see why they felt like they couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we all show up ourselves, right? So if in your personal life, you are always caring for somebody, you are always the go-to person, you always handle stuff. And the moment that you expect somebody to handle you well, they disappoint you. Now you're hardening yourself up. You're closing yourself off. You have to continuously go to people. You have to continuously open yourself up. You can't close yourself off because you're disappointed. Disappointment is a part of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. But I think that people really need to value what they say and stand on what they say.
Yeah. And before you take that step, another thing that I feel like before people get married is they need to experience a hardship. They need to experience a problem.
Yeah.
To see how you handle it. How does this person handle conflict? The way that they show up, is that something that I can endure a situation with?
Right.
Do they exhibit quality? Okay, maybe they don't, but like, are there teachable moments, or do they just crumble completely? And this is like, okay, we wouldn't be compatible.
Right. And I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my hardship was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we showed up for each other at all.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of that is trauma?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the hard part for me, because it's like, once you get rid of the trauma, once you do the work, the effective work, I say effective work. Once you do effective work and you realize that, okay, this was that, how do you show up now? If you're still being viewed as how you showed up when you did no work,
right?
How's that fair?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I respect people for saying, yo, this is what you did back then. I don't want to rock with you now. I get it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And also, don't settle, man.
Yeah. So the last thing I had, that was all of the points except for one.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what you wrote in this little group chat. You wrote some stuff.
Just those things, I said them.
Yeah, you did. What qualities?
That's the last one.
Yeah. What qualities do you want in your partner?
So what qualities do you want in your future partner?
You answer that
No, you
question first.
answer
I
it.
always go first. I'm tired of going first, beloved.
You go first, because
But you, even though you're not looking for a partnership right now, you still can say, like, if that was to come and drop on your doorstep, like, if God was to, like, just send you a bust you upside your head with Cupid, you still have to have expectations, dog. Like, you can't, like, be so closed off to, like, because you said earlier in the episode that if it came to you, you wouldn't negate it. You said that.
Okay.
So you got to stand on 10. I'm holding you accountable. So what kind of expectations?
It's not expectations. It's just qualities.
Quality standards.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe expectations. Someone who's attracted to me.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Someone who's kind. I think it's a difference between being nice and being kind.
Yes, there is.
I need someone who's kind. Like, that's just in your being. I think I need to be with someone who's, like, in the arts or, like, creative of some sort.
Right.
Or at least just understanding. I'm gonna be out, like, and I work in male-dominated industries, so sometimes I'm around a lot of men. I need you to, just be understanding of that.
The ladies understand it. Don't leave me hanging, though. The homie straight, man. The homie straight, man.
Yeah.
Unintentionally bagging them. Like, what? You'd be so oblivious. It's so cute to witness, bro. You'd be so oblivious, yo.
I'm sorry.
You be in male-dominated spaces, so, like, the assumptions on both sides. There's assumptions on both sides. You know what I mean? Because you are in male-dominated spaces, so people, the ladies be assuming too, beloved.
Yeah. But
so that's geared towards men.
Mm-hmm.
You gearing this towards men?
Yes.
So men, she's talking to y'all, okay? And women, she ain't. She ain't talking to y'all. She ain't talking to y'all.
Just saying. I'm just saying. And I don't know, maybe like a romantic. I need romance.
Yeah. Romance.
Someone who's like gentle, like laid back. I need someone who's like is gonna understand me, because like when I say I'm an introvert, I think people see that I do so many front-facing things that they get it twisted. My favorite thing to do is be quiet and mind my business and stay in the house.
That is a fact.
It's my favorite thing to do. Like, so I like just standing, doing whatever. I'm really corny. I love a corny joke. And this is why I felt I'm kind of giving away the keys. I feel like I'm going to fall for someone who like tells corny jokes, because I love that stuff.
Fellas, keys
Please.
Open doors. Okay?
Please, but no, I love a good corny joke. Like, I be cracking up, and it's the corniest thing ever, but I find it so funny. So yeah, it's kind of like over for the, I want a girl like just like you, when they like meet me, because it's like,
what is that?
This is why I be saying people don't be checking for me for real, But yeah, those are the qualities that a person could have.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I don't want to be with a people pleaser ever again. I don't think I can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be with a person who has a clear-cut idea of how they want to be handled and how they handle others. I don't want to be handled from a space of, well, I don't want to disappoint this person, or a space of fear. Like, if I don't do this, how will they react? I want to be with a person who is emotionally mature. I want to be with a person who effectively communicates.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be with a person who, even in their own personal hardships, they can self-regulate. And they don't take that as an opportunity to look at life in a negative way. I need to be with a person who's spiritual, you know? I can't be with a person who's closed off to that anymore. I need to be with a person who is secure in themselves, because I am an introvert too. And I think the way that I'm introverted is like, I love being in the house, but just because I'm in the house and I love to be alone, I love to be alone with someone else in proximity to me.
Yes.
That likes to be alone too.
Mm.
And we could be alone together. It's weird, I know, but
It's
like,
not weird. I know exactly what you mean.
I love that. I love
Mhm.
that we can be in the same space doing two different things, and it's not viewed as me not wanting you there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I say to people all the time, if I want you in my space, I want you.
Right.
Because I don't want people in my space.
Just being in your presence is enough.
Being in my presence means that I adore you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I allowed your friend to come here because I adore you. So I trusted it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I really don't rock with people like that in my personal space. So like, if I want you near, that means something. I want to be with a person who can see outside of themselves. You know, and I've had that. So I know that I need that. I need to be with a person that's thoughtful. Like, I need to be with a person who's thoughtful. I like thoughtful stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like I've had that though. So I can't say that I've never had that. I've had thoughtfulness. But I just need to be with someone who has like interest in something. Doesn't have to be the arts.
Yeah.
But like, you have to have a life outside of me. I want to learn from someone. You know what I mean? Wouldn't hurt if she fly. I love fly black women.
You do.
They be the bestest. But I don't know. I think that most importantly though, I want to be with a person who understands that they have a responsibility to not only transcend their own trauma, but generational trauma as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I now look at things like, is this a trauma bond?
Mm.
And I steer clear from it 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, we have a duty to do effective work. So shout out to everyone who taught me that therapy is okay. I wanted to say that because for a long time, like in this most previous relationship, I didn't respect therapy. And I think I want to put it out there that I respect therapy today.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to respect therapy when you've been in therapy since a child and you feel as though it didn't work.
Yeah.
So I think that like the same things that I'm saying I want in a person are the things that I'm becoming.
Mm.
I want to become all of the things that I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And yeah, man.
Right.
I'm sure there's some other stuff, but I ain't about to go through all the list.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a general on the fly type of thing.
On the fly, man. Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all. But, you know, I'm too not looking for. I don't want to say like I ain't gonna be open to love, but I ain't looking for nothing right now. I still gotta heal.
Yeah.
And yeah, come back. Come back, come back, come back, come back to me. Punisher, punish me.
Please.
That's that big pun. Shout out Big Pun, man.
Well, friend.
So how do you feel after all of this is said and done?
I'm ready to get into bed.
Really?
Yes.
I don't feel that way. I feel like I gotta pee.
I've been drinking that wine.
Drinking that wine, and it ain't fine. Like, I've been having to use the bathroom.
Look at your leg shaking. Let's go.
Wrap it up.
Wrap this up.
But yeah, man, I'm glad that we did this episode. I'm glad that even though it may be a trigger for us, we're brave enough to stand in the face of things that have hurt us and things that we might not be over. And hopefully this helps whoever's out there watching this. And I just pray for people who are in connections with someone and you're happy. It's easier to keep it sweet than to try to get it sweet. But if you are going through a situation where it's not as sweet as you may want it to be, do effective work.
Yeah.
Do effective work and believe in it, That's it.
That's it.
Thank you for this.
Thank you.
Proud of you, dog.
You too.
That's it. We're going to wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up. This is the Cool and Real Life podcast where passions and purpose align. And that's it.
That's it. That's all. We out. Cool.